everyone. Good evening once more to you watching us from your various homes. I must say we are so grateful that you stick and stay with us every Friday on Facts of the Week. As you know, Facts of the Week comes to you from 6:30 to 7:30. It's a 1-hour program where we help you understand the topical issues that came through over the days that gone by. Indeed, Facts of the Week, separates the chaff from the propaganda and give you the facts so that you can appreciate the issues that have come through in these days. And so stick and stay with us. We appreciate you sticking and watching us from your various homes on Facebook, my CTV link, as well as also trying to comment so you can be part of the discussions on the issues that we'll put on the table. But let me first of all also acknowledge our sponsors. Fernat sponsoring this show. Fernat is a furniture company which is doing quite well. We appreciate their effort in helping us to bring this show to you every other week. Once again, Facts of the Week is also supported by Aquaba Natural Mineral Water, quenching your thirst and nourishing the nation with pure, clean, refreshing Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. I have with me a distinguished one for that matter, who's going to help us understand and appreciate the issues in proper perspective, in making decisions and ensuring that the propaganda the fact stands. Let me acknowledge my sponsors and come back so that we begin the discussion.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernat Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernat Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden product that will last a lifetime. With Fernat Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernat, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernat Ghana today and share my story. Located at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernat.
Well, thank you so much once again for sticking and staying with us. This is CTV, Ghana's #1 television inside Laboni, and once again I'm saying that this is Facts of the Week as you know it. And so we'll begin the discussion, but I'm sitting in for your regular host Valentina Ofori Free. My name Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, and I'm here with one distinguished personality. Like I said, he is Dr. Daniel Osabute. He's a senior lecturer, Accra Technical University, Faculty of Business. Doc, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
We are grateful for coming through to let us appreciate some of the issues in proper perspective. Once again, you would want to be part of the discussion, and so you'd want to send your WhatsApp messages on 0200668486, 0200668486, and also try and join the discussion on Facebook, my CTVGH. Put your comments through and we'll read it at the right time. So what we are saying, we are starting a discussion with what has come to more or less taking center stage of the airwaves with regards to the depreciation or the appreciation, let me say the depreciation of the dollar and the appreciation of the cedi. And so there's been a lot of talk from the political actors, from academia, from industry players and all that. And so we want to understand the matter. The NDC or the government is saying that it is by deeds of good work, appreciation of the economic space, and the XY government, in fact, in proper perspective, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the United Kingdom over some few days made some comments about what we see as an appreciation of the cedi. claiming or making the claims forcefully that it's also by deeds of their understanding and work they had done over the period, for which reason the government is reaping or sowing what it actually did. I mean, some of the things that they have done is what is manifesting in the appreciation of the cedi. Let's take a listen to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's commentary in UK and come back to the studio.
The cedi that we have seen recently, I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the cedi, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented, not sort of talked about, but actually implemented. They cannot tell you one such policy. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground, also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening.
All right, so you heard Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the former or the ex-vice president of the Republic of Ghana, making some remarks about the appreciation of the cedi and the depreciation of the dollar in the space. And so immediately after that, Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, lawyer Sammy Gyamfi, I must say, also responded, and he had a lot to say. Among other things that Mr. Sammy Gyamfi said were that the government, for which he serves as CEO or the managing director for Cocoa Board, has made stringent monetary policy stance by, I must say, Gold Board, I must say, thank you very much for Gold Board. Among the things that he said were that the government itself has made stringent, or has put in place stringent monetary policy stance coming from the BOG, that's the Bank of Ghana. Again, he also makes the point that fiscal consolidation has also been one of the things that has taken center stage, spearheaded by the Ministry of Finance to ensure that. So you realize that in point 2, he makes the case that fiscal consolidation by the Ministry of Finance and the restoration of investor confidence in the Ghanaian economy, anchored on fiscal discipline and prudent public finance management, is also part of the reason why we see what we are seeing now as a nation. And the point 3, he says robust forex inflows and accelerated foreign reserve accumulation through unprecedented gold purchases and exports by the PMMC or Gold Board, as well as enhanced foreign exchange inflows from cocoa remittances, among others. And so these are some of the claims put through by lawyer Sammy Gyamfi. He goes further to say that these policies interventions, alongside a favorable global context marked by the weakening of the US dollar amid global uncertainties, have significantly driven the strength of the Ghana cedi. And so this is what lawyer Sammy Gyamfi put across on social media for our consumption. Right after that, we had the Member of Parliament for the good people of Sunafo, Thanos South, I must say, Thanos South, Gideon Boakon, who said that he also had some few things to say. So it's on your screen right now. You can make do with it. It says, like the typical NDC, our gold board CEO, Sammy Gyamfi, is failing to appreciate the issues. One, and he comes across with a lot of claims in that regard. So I'm sure Doc is privy to all of these matters, and so we want to engage Doc on the matter. Doc, once again, welcome.
Thank you,
What
brother.
is your perspective of what is happening in the space as regarding the dollar and the CD conversation?
My brother, thank you very much for having me. And let me say good evening to our viewers. Before I delve into the issue, let me say that I'm very sad hearing of the murder of one of our colleagues at Winneba. It is very sad that people can be such wicked.
Amedeka.
Some people can be such wicked.
Too bad.
So, in fact, I want to express our condolence to the family of our colleague lecturer. And I believe that the law enforcement agency will do their work properly and make sure that the perpetrators of this heinous crime are dealt with. So it's very sad.
I know you are
such a learned person.
Finding words to even describe how you feel. But before you get in, just as we were entering the studio to begin this discussion, we gathered that this is the rate now as stands 11.05. Is the rate as it stands now. And so our viewers, this is what is happening to the conversation of the dollar and CD. So Doc.
Kofi, I'm happy you have decided that we look at the issue devoid of any politics.
Exactly.
And let me say that with the performance of the dollar, we are all happy. When it comes to the exchange rate, there are so many factors that influence it. We can have the external factors as well as the internal factors. Now, let me start by looking at the external factors. By the way, with this debate, it is becoming very interesting, where a particular party says that give us a credit, and the NDC says we have the magic wand. That is why we are seeing the appreciation of the CD. I would like to pose this rhetorical question, and I'm sure that will resolve all these issues. What if NDC inherited 16 cities to the dollar, and then after 4 months we have the dollar moving to, or the CD moving to 20 cities to $1? Will the MPP accept the fact that, or will they come out and say there has been mismanagement on the part of the NDC?
It's also said that success has many friends.
That is one. Now, will the NDC also come back and say that, oh, we inherited this mess, and that is why we are experiencing this depreciation? So I think that the most important thing is to put the issue in its right context or perspective. And let me begin with the external. You see, something is happening globally, and we need to acknowledge that. If you look at the dollar over the years has become a global currency, such that almost all the countries want to trade in the dollar. And we have the BRICS, made up of China, Brazil, we have India, we even have South Africa. Recently, Egypt has joined. And the agenda is to break the dominance of the dollar. So looking at their bilateral trade, they've even agreed to accept their local currency. So if you look at the performance of the dollar, it is not performing so well. So it is true, because if you look at the basket of currencies, the dollar reduced from 108 to 99 as of May 2025. So they have even seen that the dollar is not really performing as expected. So that one too is there. And one other thing that is also favoring the appreciation of the CD has to do with the fact that we've been able to shore up our reserves. That one is a fact. because if you have enough reserves, as we speak, I think we have done past $10 billion,
exactly.
which is very good, because it means that at any time where we have issues, we can easily bring out those reserves. And Bank of Ghana is also doing well. This time round, if you look at the way they are auctioning the dollar, they are not relying on their reserves. It is like what comes in is what they bring out. Okay, so they still have enough reserves, and that is also strengthening the cedi. Again, if you look at the way they are building up gold reserve, that is good. Any country with solid gold reserve will always strengthen the local currency. Okay, so that looking at all this, it is pointing to one direction that definitely our cedi will continue to appreciate. Now, let's look at the factors that influence the exchange rate. You are talking about differentials in inflation. Okay, if you look at Ghana, our inflation as against US, definitely our inflation is more than that of the US. So it is still true that our currency in terms of value is less than that of the US. Okay, but over the months, if you study carefully, you realize that inflation is reducing.
Yeah.
So we are now doing 21.22. Okay, and that means that your cedi will be strengthened as you reduce inflation, because it's one of the factors that determine the exchange rate. Okay, now if you look at debt, public debt, our public debt is also reducing. As of I think March, when the budget was read, we were doing around 65% okay, to GDP, and that is also a good indication to support the appreciation of the cedi. Now, if you look at this other factor where people are beginning to have confidence, okay, in the economy, the confidence level has gone up. I mean, people always have confidence when there is a new government in place. And this confidence is as a result of economic policies that the government may espouse. Okay, and if you look at the budget, it is coming as no surprise that we have the confidence level of Ghanaians going up. So again, it will also it will cause an appreciation of the cedi. And then balance of trade. You know, as of 2024, we were doing surplus, about 5-point-something billion, about 47 billion Ghana cedis, and that is good for us. Okay, so all these things are pointing to a certain direction that we are on the right path to strengthen our currency. Okay, so I wouldn't like us to look at who should take this credit. Definitely the reserve, building of the foreign forex, NPP started it, and NDC has also continued. Okay, so we should rather look at how do we ensure its sustainability rather than trying to share the credit.
Exactly, and that has been the discussion all through. I mean, people are happy and excited about the fact that the cedi is doing well and all that, but the key or the elephant in the room right now, people are a bit skeptical about it, is the question that how do we sustain this thing so that we don't come back to our old days?
Yes, so one of the ways by which you can sustain the appreciation of this cedi, and let me also commend you, the media, you are doing so well.
Thank you.
Ever since the cedi started appreciating, we've been having series of discussions, and it is prompting people who either to have decided to hold the dollars, thinking that it will appreciate, to bring them out. You know, so now people are a bit skeptical.
Exactly.
Are we going to still experience the same appreciation of the cedi? And should I hold on to the dollars? So they are rather bringing those monies out to convert it into cedis, and it's good, because if the cedi is depreciating and you keep on hammering the depreciation of the cedi, then speculators will rush in, buy the dollars, and begin to hoard with the anticipation that the cedi will continue to appreciate. So let me commend you for that. You are doing so well.
Thank you.
And I believe that people who are hoarding it should rather bring them those monies out, and then because I'm not foreseeing the cedi depreciating anytime soon. I don't think so. Yes, with what we are seeing now, the government is on the right path. And one of the things that we can do to sustain the appreciation of the cedi is to strengthen the gold board. Okay, which is headed by our brother Sammy Jemfi.
Okay.
The gold board is doing so well. Why am I saying this? If you look at the revenue from the exportation of gold last year, so huge.
Exactly.
So huge. In fact, that has been one of the highest revenue earner for us. You are looking at the revenue from,
yes, and
from gold.
we gathered that
Yes.
within even the 2 months of the coming into force of the gold board, it's been able to accrue a little over $2.4 billion.
Exactly. I mean, if you have...
This money could have gone into individual pockets.
Oh, yes. If you have a sector performing this way, then there's no... Because if you look at exchange rate, all that we are saying is that demand and supply.
Exactly.
So if you have enough of this dollars in the system, then definitely the city will appreciate. Okay, so gold board is doing very, 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 very well. And let me also come back and say that we shouldn't just attribute the success of the city to just external factors. No. Yes, external factors are also play some role, but I'll even give about 10% to it and 90% homegrown policies. Okay, because if it has to do with only external factors, we see the other currencies also depreciating against the city.
Exactly.
As we speak, the dollar has depreciated by about 24.1 as of May this month.
Yeah.
And then you have the pound sterling depreciating by 16.2. And then you have the euro 14.1. So are we also saying that they are also affected by the same, global issues? Yeah, so it means that we have really put in place enough measures to ensure that we shore up our reserves. So yes, gold board must continue to do the good work. And with this, smuggling will reduce. And, we have our own laws, which means that once you export gold, try to bring about 80% of the revenue in hard currency. But how many of these companies were able to fulfill this law?
Yeah.
Okay, so gold board, we should strengthen gold board to continue doing whatever they are doing. And one thing that is also favoring us, and I pray that it will continue to favor us, is the fact that the price of gold on the international market has gone up.
Yes.
Okay. As of 2023, December, we were doing about $2,000 per ounce. By May, we have $3,400 per ounce. So that is also good for our economy. Okay. Now, we also have to look at the agricultural sector. Import substitution. And that is a long term. Okay. So I'll encourage government that with this windfall, from the appreciation of the city, we should be able to channel enough of these resources into strengthening our local producers, especially our farmers. Why should we be importing poultry? Why should we be importing grains, cereal? So we should be able to also support them instead of spending so much money in importing, and then we end up creating jobs. For such people,
yes,
we should rather strengthen our local producers. And I believe that by so doing, I tell you, the city will continue to appreciate. I'm so optimistic that the city will continue to appreciate. Okay, so that is also there. And then corruption. We need to also tackle corruption.
It's a big issue.
It's a big issue. And with the kind of things that this government has put in place, and the fact that they are not going to spare anybody, caught in this act of corruption, is also a good signal, because how many investors would like to invest in a country that has been labeled a corrupt country? So it doesn't send a good signal to the investor community. So corruption, once the government is able to deal with it, and then we continue to be fiscal in terms of our consolidation, the way we spend, we should still reduce our spending. And I'm happy this government is tackling it as one of the major issues. And if you look at the number of ministries reduced from 30 to 23, look at the number of ministers over 100, now we are doing about 56, and people have even forgotten that he has not hit the 60. And look at the savings that is being made if you control your expenditure. And it is also helping the appreciation of the city. And I believe that the reserves, we should continue to build our reserves. We should continue to have more of the reserves in our forex. And yes, people are saying that we shouldn't be complacent and I'll add my voice to it, that yes, I'm happy the governor of Bank of Ghana was the first person to come out and say that no, we are not yet out, and that they'll still work their way out to be sure that at least they sustain the appreciation of the cedi, because there are certain payments that will be made between now and 2028, and that will mean that government has to cough out so much. We have about 65 billion cedis that have to be paid to our contractors. It was put on hold because they instituted an audit, and I believe that once the report is out, such payment to be made. We have the domestic debt exchange also hanging on our neck, which has to be paid up to, I think, 200 billion, and all these things will put some kind of pressure on.
But do you agree or side with the position by the former vice president that he does not see any real policy that the current government can hold on to say has been the game changer in all of this conversation?
No, I disagree with him. I disagree with him. Look, let's even take one policy of reducing government expenditure. It's good. It's yielding results.
Exactly.
Okay, so you may not have it as a policy or as a blueprint, but we are all seeing the results. I mean, can you imagine the expenditure on 100 plus ministers, the land cruisers, and all those things? It's cost to government.
Exactly.
So if you can manage this economy with a lean government, you are doing well. Okay. So I totally, it's savings. And if you are saving, it means that you are backing the strength of your currency. So that is good. And then if you look at how even Bank of Ghana is going about implementing the forex laws. Okay. Today, I mean, recently I think in Tanzania, they've come out that you cannot quote any price in dollars.
Exactly.
That, I'm quoting it in dollars, and then I'll call you pay the shillings, the Tanzanian shillings or something. So no, everything must be quoted in our local currency. So with what Bank of Ghana is doing, and they also strengthening their monetary policy, all these things are, I mean, yielding results. So it will be unfair for anybody to say that he or she cannot pinpoint any economic policy that is resulting in this appreciation of this.
Let's acknowledge something here, and I want to take your perspective on that. This was the post by the Tanon North, actually, I must say, MP, Dr. Gideon Boakon, who said in his write-up that the IMF required that Ghana built its international reserves to cover at least 3 months of import. While that was not achieved, Ghana was restricted to only $60 to $80 million as interventions. The previous NPP government, by December 2024, had exceeded this 3 months of import cover requirement by the IMF. Hence, the removal of the restrictions. What's your take on this?
You see, if you look at data supports, and I always say that anytime we are within an IMF program, you look at all the economic indicators and they perform so well. I mean, right from public debt to inflation to GDP growth and all that, they perform so well. So we can even attribute the appreciation of the cedi to the fact that we are within the IMF program. Okay. Yes, it is good for us to come out and say that, government missed almost all their targets. Inflation they missed, apart from the the forex reserves. They were able to hit it, and then they also chalked some surplus. I mean, trade surplus and that kind of thing. Yeah, so they did well. Okay, but that doesn't mean that this government is not doing their part.
Okay,
right? Yes, they were able to exceed the 3 months cover, import cover, and that is why they were allowed by IMF to exceed the 60 billion. So yes, they did well, but I wouldn't like a situation where we should attribute the success of this cedi to only what was done by the previous government.
Okay.
We are talking about continuity. You understand?
Exactly.
So you inherit both assets and liabilities. But the point is that Ghanaians must feel all these things in their pockets.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing. We should begin to see cost of living reducing, standard of living increasing. And it is Ghanaians that will say that this particular government is doing well or the government is not doing
exactly. Right. So this is where we want to draw the discussion on this particular subject, and as espoused by Dr. Daniel Osah-Bootey, clearly, I mean, nobody would want to say that the ex-Wa government did not start something or do anything in this regard regarding the appreciation of the cedi and the dollar conversation. And so, but I mean, it can also not be lost on anybody that, I mean, the government of the day now has significantly made sure certain things are done or put in proper perspective to ensure that what we are seeing today as a state, as a nation, is achieved. And so that is what we want to say. Like I said, facts of the week, we don't do propaganda here. We say it as it is. We speak to the facts, we speak to the figures, and then we let you understand and appreciate what the real issues are. We'll take a break and come back briefly.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernart Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernart, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernart Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966 085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernart.
All right, thank you very much. We are grateful that you're still staying with us on CTV, Ghana's #1 television. Facts of the week, as I have told you, is supported by Fernart. Wood is for life. Great furniture is made by Fernart. Once again, it's also, the show is supported by Aquaba Natural Mineral Water, quenching thirst and nourishing the nation with pure, clean, refreshing Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. I've got some messages in here. I would want to read some few to you so that you at least know what is happening. It says, I totally agree with the doctor. The appreciation of the cedi can be attributed to both external and internal. I think the former vice president is tired. The NDC is doing something right. My prayer is that they should focus. I think the government is on the right path. He says his name is Fred from Kotobabi Down. Let me take this one. He says, oh, good evening. I love the show. I love doctor's explanation. Very calm and easy. All right, let me take the last one. He says, good evening, Doc. My greetings to doctor in the studio. Okay. So this is a meeting of doctors here. All right, so we want to look at one other issue which has to do with, some 2-3 days ago, I must say, there was a video circulating in the media space, social media, and all over the place about a supposed meeting that happened between some lawyers and some judges who, yes, and so viewers, you can see the video on your screen where you see some, that's if you can go back a bit for us so we can appreciate the videos well. So you see some gentlemen enter an eatery or a restaurant, and then they walk through to go take their seats. And then you see at a point in time some of them exchanging some pleasantries, and as we know, this was coming after a petition by a Ghanaian by name Alfred Abebiu Kumi, who petitioned the president of the land to, as it were, take off some individuals he is alleging that had gone into a meeting with the petitioner in the Chief Justice's case or saga, whichever way you want to put it. And so he suspected that there was a meeting actually that went on in this video where the judges had to more or less meet some lawyers who were standing in for the petitioners of the Chief Justice case, and so he found it quite not interesting and amusing, and so petitioned Mr. President to, as it were, take off some of the judges he perceived were more or less going to muddy the situation in the space and not ensure that the justice and fairness is done to the issue as regarding the Chief Justice. And so that's the video you see on your screen. And there's a lot happening, or a lot of things have happened after this video came up. As we know, this morning the national security or the security apparatus of the state invited or went into the abode of the petitioner Alfred Ababu Kumi, who we are told was picked up by the national security for some interrogation. Coming into this studio, we heard that he's been charged actually for false publication, and so the lawyers were also doing well to ensure that he's released so that he goes home. And so but let me not take the wind out of the sail. There's a video of the lawyer for Alfred Ababu Kumi speaking to the press. Let's watch it and come back.
He's been charged a few minutes ago. So they cautioned him and then they charged him. So as far as the processes is concerned, we are almost through with the processes, because once there is an interrogation and you are cautioned first, and then they press charges against you, then you're almost through. Technically, I'm sure the next should either be in court or if putting in a bail application. So let's see how it goes.
What do they say his offences are?
False publication. False publication in relation to an interview he granted on a traditional media, and then something he posted on his X account, and then a petition he wrote to the president.
That was the lawyer for the petitioner, Alfred Ababu Kumi, in the person of Clement Opoku Gyamfi, speaking to the press after he makes the case that they have secured some or trying to secure a bail for him so that he could go home and live with the family. And so, Doc, in all of these discussions or this matter, I mean, a video put out there, the gentleman making claims, wild allegations, I must say, against some Supreme Court judges that they were, in fact, there are some other videos, I'm sure, as the discussion progresses, the crew will show it to our viewers, where he makes a claim that he even overheard the judges talking about the matter concerning the Chief Justice and her removal and all that. How does this thing come to you in the first place?
I'm surprised. Why? Because why should somebody decide to invade the privacy of our judges? Do you think that if they are planning to come out with wrong judgment, they will just meet in the open? Don't they have chambers?
Exactly.
They could have met somewhere to discuss if that is indeed what they intended doing. So we should be very careful not to be doing things in the name of politics. You know, one, you are even exposing them to high threats. You know, the risk is high. Taking videos of judges in public and then showing them out there in public is not the best. You know. So yes, the law enforcement agency have taken up the matter, and as we heard from his lawyer, he should be able to prove that indeed he overheard them having such a conversation. If two people have met and they are discussing issues, and I think there was a rejoinder from one of the lawyers that they walked in first, they were having a meeting, and then they saw the other judges coming in. They have to go and greet. Yes, they have to go and greet those people, after which they even left the restaurant, because by which time they had already taken their meal. So I can't really figure out what pushed the gentleman to bring the video out and to also come out and still say that he stands by the video. Because look, the committee that is hearing the what do you call it, the petition of the Chief Justice. Yes, we need to be very careful not to come out with issues that are not true. Other than that, we tarnish the image. Yeah, very sensitive. Very sensitive. We can tarnish the image of the judiciary, tarnish the image of this country as well. Okay, because somebody out there will not be privy to the facts. So the conclusion that will be drawn is that even judges and lawyers are being prosecuted and all that. I don't think it's good for this country. We should put politics behind us. You should come out with the facts. Okay, and even if you've heard them,
but he says these are the facts. He says he makes a case that he stands by it. Well, these are hard facts for him.
Well, if he's invited to prove, he should be able to prove it. And I'm sure that is why the law enforcement agency picked him up to come out with the facts, so that we all know whether what he's saying is true or it's not true. But Kofi, we have to be very careful. I don't want us to turn this country into, political hearsay. Don't just come out with issues because you want to make yourself popular. Unfortunately, in this country, we always reward people who come out to attack, to insult, to castigate, and to also spill out lies. We end up rewarding them. And I believe that is why some people have taken upon themselves this issue of coming out with all this thing. I don't think it will help us as a country.
How do you see what people will say invasion of the national security in his present? I mean, his abode, and to say that he could have just been invited. Why do you go to his house? In fact, we spoke to the mother in our midday news this afternoon, and she makes the claim that about 8 men, heavily built men, came to the house, 2 wielding guns, and they had to even break into one of the rooms, and there are evidences to show for that. They saw the door has been mashed by a gun and all that. I mean, what do you have anything to say about?
I think you can arrest legally without going into excesses. That would be what that is what I'll say. Because if what we are watching on the screen is anything to go by, then I'll say that our security agencies also went overboard. Because I don't know if the guy was invited and then he turned down the invitation, for which it merited strong men going to the house to pick him up. But the law must be applied to the latter, irrespective of who is involved. I'll urge our security apparatus to continue applying the law. Nobody is above it. So if he has been invited and he turned out the invitation, then definitely the security agencies will come out and say that minimal force. But I don't know whether it really got to the point of they exercising the minimal force. I am not in that position. So yes, let's do the right thing. Let's use the law. And then we make sure we subject people through the right procedure, so we could get the facts, we get the right information.
I want us to tie this same conversation. Today a lot has been happening in the space of arrest. A couple of hours ago we heard of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Chairman Wontumi, also making wild claims on radio that his house has been raided by some national security operatives. The video is available, so let's watch the video, and Doctor will give us some few words and his perspective on it.
13, you seized my 500 excavators, 400 pickups. Mama, now call Usro. Usro side, the other year being in still have me, that's what do.
So Yes, pardon us that this is not a video we actually wanted to show you, so we'll get you the right video. But this is one of the outbursts, I must say, of Chairman Wontumi on his own media platform. I think one of his media platforms in the Ashanti region. But the fact is that he was on radio this afternoon and he made a claim that his house has been raided, and actually calling on all MPP supporters to come in and support him because it's his time. He needs that support because he's actually going through this what he claims to be molestation or intimidation because of what he did for the party or he's been doing for the party over the years, for which reason the government has targeted to ensure that he's attacked and all that. I mean, what do you say about that?
My brother, what I'll say is simple. You know, sometimes when...
But let me add to it that the National Security, as we gather, also went into his space for a search. Okay. And indeed, they went with a search warrant. The video is ready now, so let's watch it and come back.
Ghana need you. Because they said the one we never president. Ghana need you. Ghana for Musorio. Ghana for Musorio. I'm before you know Musorio. I'm before you know Musorio. I am Munti and I'm Mahama MC. This vice president da. Me Madam Board Suda. Me my DCO da. Me my minister da. I chairman in the media. And I want to campaign in Mammy. I'm my campaign in Mammy party. And I'm a year Juma 2013. We are about the boom, Juma. Mubaye, Mastopim, Juma, my count to pa, be Didio was one. Me, my count to club, be Didio was no. Cemetery, my school fees and club by a ding. What I say, most of them won't start to my count to show, and you know, Nasabi, me, sick a bane of the family.
All right, so you had Chairman Wontumi, as he's popularly called, the regional Ashanti regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, making that claim.
Brakofi.
And that was the search warrant we showed
so
as well.
They had their search warrant. I'll just simplify this way. I'll plead that we always use the law so we can use the law to defend whatever action that we embark upon. If you do anything outside the law, it will be difficult for you to explain yourself. So going forward, we have our own laws. Let's apply the laws. Whatever we do, we should let the law speak. That is all that I'll say.
All right, so that's Doctor. He doesn't want to say much about it because, I mean, just as you know, the fact that the security apparatus went there with a search warrant, which is legitimate, and so you can grant them that as to the operational framework. You and I were not there. We cannot say much about that. But once again, we want to establish and also make the case that we have also gone through some research, so to speak, to really understand and bring the matter to proper perspective. Like I said, fact of the week, we don't do propaganda. We bring out the facts so that our viewers would make some sense out of the things, that the issues that are happening in and around us. So for the first video that we watched, and director, if you can walk with me, concerning the judges and the restaurants and Alfred Ababiu Kumi and all that, we have taken his petition, and we have looked through, and we just posted it with the video that we are watching, and we can say, I don't really understand what the petitioner meant by a meeting, because clearly meetings don't I don't see a situation where you would have to exchange pleasantries with people in a space of about 30 seconds or a minute, and you call that a meeting. Because clearly with the videos that we are seeing, unless there are contrary videos somewhere that is not yet out, but if this is what we are to believe amounts to a meeting of some lawyers and judges. And for the records, indeed, we've been able to identify a lawyer in there who looks like Thaddeus Sori, the revered Thaddeus Sori. And then you see the gentleman in the white shirt who just entered with his hand in the pocket. Director, take your time for us. It's a judge. And so you see the video. The man who just entered with his hand in his pocket in the white shirt is a judge. We understand is looking like JSC Kofi, Anthony Kofi. And then we have the Yoni Kolendi in there, JSC Yoni Kolendi. And then we also have JSC Samuel Adibu in there. He took the right turn. So Yoni Kolendi JSC is the one who is, you see that Thaddeus Sori rose and shook hands with him. And then Thaddeus Sori, the one sitting in front of Thaddeus Sori, is a friend, as we understand, and we've been able to uncover of Thaddeus Sori. So Thaddeus Sori then moved away from his seat to now exchange pleasantries with the judges who went away. Because it's assumed that they didn't know him. But because Thaddeus Sori and Yoni Kolendi JSC have a long-standing friendship, because we all know about Thaddeus Sori. He's been in the space, the legal space, for very experienced lawyer, and so he might have come into contact with Justice Yoni Kolendi several times, and so these things happen within a space of about 30 seconds or a minute. And so if this would amount to a meeting, then I don't know what meetings really are. And so viewers, this is what we want to say on this show. We want to establish that from our perspective, we want to say that this does not really amount to a meeting unless there's something extraordinary. There's another video somewhere which is not yet been played to us for us to know what exactly went on in that area. People have asked the question about the restaurant itself, as to how the gentleman was able to acquire this video from the restaurant. Because don't forget,
he took it for, I think, CCTV.
This is a CCTV coverage. This is not like he took it with a phone or something. What do you think? What's your take on that?
If the gentleman got the footage from the restaurants, I don't think that is diplomatic. It is undiplomatic, because the CCTV is meant for those within.
Exactly.
Okay, but to give it out, if really it was a restaurant that gave it out, then I'm sure they heard. And what did the gentleman tell them before they releasing?
Well, usually these things would have to be coming from maybe a court.
Yes. They should order the release of the CCTV. So how did he get the CCTV footage? I think the restaurant owner or those in charge will be in a better position to explain. Yes.
Do you think they should be hauled before court?
I think they should explain how the footage got to the gentleman.
Exactly. But let me take you. Let me take your last words on. We heard 2 days ago, a day ago, that the vice president has returned to the state, looking quite very healthy and hearty. And there's been excitement all through Ghana. In fact, we had Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the former vice president, also sending some good messages of hope and on his Facebook handle. What do you say about that?
Mama Jane is a mother to most of us. Yes.
Yeah, I can understand.
She taught me.
She taught you?
Yeah, years back. That was
I see.
UCC 1993 to 1998. Libra, one of the Libra courses. Then she was handling English.
I see.
And we did one of those courses. So I'm very happy that our mother is back, very healthy. The rumor mongering has come to an end.
Exactly.
We heard so many things when she was away. But we thank God that she has brought her back very strong, and she's back to continue with the good work.
Exactly.
And President Mahama sounded very hilarious when he said that in her absence. And then when he traveled to Togo, people were like, we have to impeach him because we don't have vice president, we don't have the president. But she's back. And we pray that the Lord will continue to strengthen her, because the task ahead is very, very huge. And I believe she can deliver.
Exactly. And the president also made some beautiful remarks, and it's caught the attention of many people, that we need to, as a state, we need to pay particular attention to our health facilities.
It's very important.
So that some of these things can be dealt with.
It's very important.
Probably because she's the vice president. You know, she had opportunity to be taken out and all. But for the masses who could have similar complications like she had, what could be happening to them?
I think we have the good doctors here. What we don't have is a state-of-the-art equipment. Because I'm sure the doctors advised I should be flown out because equipment that they needed to conduct further tests, we're not having it. So this would mean that as a country, we should also make that conscious effort to ensure we have all the equipment needed in our teaching hospitals. You know, UGMC has become a teaching hospital, of which they shouldn't lack such an equipment. And I even pray that the NDC government will take it up as a major project to, stock all these big hospitals with the state-of-the-art equipment that we need, so people will not be flown outside. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. All too soon. But let me say this. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on his post earlier this morning says, a warm welcome back home to Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Samira Bawumia, and I. Thank God for your speedy recovery and wish you all the best as you resume work. And so,
good gesture.
Very good gesture. And this is the Ghanaian for you.
Yeah, that's Ghanaian.
And so, some few messages in here. I just want to say hello to my daddy, Dr. Osabute. Thumbs up to you. This is you didn't add your name. Good evening, doctor. The show is so good. I like it. I am Eduji from Akachi. All right. Again. The doctor has spoken my mind. How can our justices and lawyers who are planning to plot against the suspended CJ go into a restaurant or a public space to have their meeting? It doesn't make say okay, you say it doesn't make sense. All right. Fred from Kutubabi. All right, so thank you very much. Let me say a big thank you to Fairnat. This Facts of the Week is supported by Fairnat. Wood is for life. Great furniture is made by Fairnat. Once again, a big thank you to Aquaba Natural Mineral Water, quenching thirst and nourishing the nation with pure, clean, refreshing Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. They have been holding us down each and every Friday, 6:30 to 7:30 on this particular set, CTV, Ghana's #1 television, for us to bring the perspective, the factual perspective of the things that have, or the political issues that have happened in the space. I want to thank Dr. Daniel Osabute, who is a senior lecturer, Accra Technical University, Faculty of Business. Doc, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We're grateful.
Thank you.
All right. And so we draw the curtains here today on Facts of the Week. I sat in for your regular host, Valentina Ofori Efriye. My name, Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan. Good night.